Assalamu alaikum. Today we're going to be looking at different well-known Arabic programs and comparing them so that you can decide which one is better for you. Now I know there are a lot of Arabic programs out there, but today we're only going to focus on three: Andalus Institute, Bayyinah Institute, and Al-Madrasatul Umariyya AMAU Academy. But before we get into it, there are a few things that I want to discuss. You may ask, aren't all Arabic programs the same? Don't they all teach Arabic? Well, yes, however, they all have different methodologies for how they teach. Some may focus more on grammar and morphology, while others may take a more vocabulary-based approach, teaching you how to speak before you get too deep into the grammar. And to be honest, I don't actually know if there is one that's better objectively, or if it's the case that everyone just learns differently and one version, one way might be better for someone than another way. Now, I obviously do affiliate marketing for Andalus Institute, and I have in many previous videos. But in this video, I'm only going to use objective measures to understand each program, and I'm going to compare them all. I won't necessarily say which one is just plain better, but I'll say which one is better for some type of people or another type of people. Here are the metrics for which I'll assess each program. Metrics that I think are the main things people care about. Number one is methodology. How do they go about teaching? Because yes, there are different ways, and that can change whether you personally end up learning Arabic or not. I'll go into more details in this later, but pretty much some methodologies are just better for some people. The second metric is structure/organization. How is the program structured and what should you expect to go through before joining this course? Third is support, meaning when you get stuck or are confused about an issue, what ways can you get those questions answered so you can move along with your learning? And finally, the fourth metric is price. How much are each of these programs going to cost you? I think this is going to be very beneficial and give you guys a good understanding of which program you should join. Okay, let's begin. What is the methodology of Bayyinah Institute? How do they go about teaching Arabic? Well, Bayyinah Institute Arabic program is called the Dream Program. And the first 40 or so classes are actually already on YouTube, so you can even go watch them right now. These videos are split up into 4 sections called intensives. Intensive 1 is Nahu. Intensive 2 is Nahu again. Intensive 3 is Sarf, and Intensive 4 is Sarf again. Now, what does this mean? Nahu and Sarf are really the 2 foundations of the Arabic language, and without them you can't understand Arabic. And so as we can see, the Bayyinah Dream program goes heavy into Nahu and Sarf from the very beginning. The first episode or the first class is already about Nahu. And this is what I'm calling the Nahu/Sarf approach. Bayyinah's methodology is that they want to teach you Nahu and Sarf as soon as possible so you could start understanding the Qur'an. They don't focus on learning how to speak or vocabulary or how to say how are you or what is your name in Arabic. They don't focus on that at all. He just goes straight into teaching Nahu and Sarf. And for some people, that's exactly what they want. Now for Andalus Institute. What is their methodology? Contrary to the Nahu/Sarf approach, Andalus Institute is a very vocabulary-based program, where from the very beginning of the program you take lessons over how to say different phrases, like how to introduce yourself, how to ask for things, etc. And their first goal is pretty much to get you being fluent in Arabic, unlike the Nahu/Sarf method. And lastly, we have the AMAU Arabic program called Arabic with AMAU. And they also use the vocabulary and speaking method, in which you learn how to speak and learn so many vocabulary words from the very beginning, with less of a focus on Nahu and Sarf. Now, both of these methodologies have their arguments, and really depends on how you want to learn. Those who teach the Nahu/Sarf approach say that for Muslims, our goal is not to teach them Arabic just so they could speak with Arabs. We want to teach them Arabic so they could understand the Qur'an. Therefore, there's no need for us to teach them how to say what's your name and how are you doing in Arabic, because that doesn't help you understand Allah's word. The Qur'an is already giving you the words you need to know. So learning Nahu and Sarf deeply is the best way to learn Arabic, because you'll be able to look up the meanings of the words in the Qur'an and understand it much quicker. Those who teach with the vocabulary focused method have a whole different argument. They say the default way of learning any language is by speaking and listening. The way a baby learns language isn't by learning grammar first, but they just listen and speak, and the grammar becomes second nature later on. So by learning how to speak and learning vocabulary, Arabic will become easier to learn and you'll understand the Qur'an anyways, because you've learned all these vocabulary words and the grammar is more natural. Now, which one do I personally think is right? To be honest, I don't really know if there is a right answer. That could be the case, but it could also be the case that it just depends on the person learning, and they could choose a vocabulary-based approach or a Nahu, Sarf, grammar-based approach, because people point out pros and cons in each. Some people say by learning the grammar-based approach first and jumping right into grammar without vocabulary is going to be very difficult. And for people who don't know any Arabic whatsoever, it's just going to overwhelm them and they're going to quit very easily or very soon because it was just too difficult for them. And others might say, even if I learn how to speak Arabic, I'm not living in an Arabic environment, so I'm just going to forget how to speak it anyways. I might as well just start with Nahu and Sarf because I'm going to be reading the Qur'an and using the Nahu and Sarf all the time to understand it. And so it just depends on which one you want to try. Okay, now for the second metric. Organization. Bayyinah Institute is organized in the following manner. First, you start with 10 long lessons of Nahu. Then you repeat those exact same 10 lessons again for repetition. Then you have 10 long lessons of Sarf, and then you repeat those 10 lessons again also. And he does this so you could really digest the material and so that you don't forget it later on. And like I mentioned, all those classes are already on YouTube, so if you want to check those out and see if you like that approach, you can already go ahead and do so right now. The rest of the classes are on Bayyinah TV, so you're going to have a Bayyinah TV subscription to get access to those. So on the Bayyinah TV platform, you'll continue the course with 127 lessons of Nahu called Intermediate Nahu, then 75 lessons under Intermediate Sarf, then 31 lessons called Reader, which is where you kind of learn to read without harakat, then 19 lessons on Balagha, which is rhetoric, then 45 lessons on Advanced Nahu, then 16 lessons on Advanced Sentence Structures, then 28 lessons again on learning how to read and recapping on that, then 46 lessons called Advanced Reader, which is just reading more advanced text. Then they go into reading different books. They read a book called At-Ta'bir al-Qur'ani, and they also read some tafsir to practice reading Islamic text. And that's pretty much it for the Arabic Dream program. Obviously, there's more videos on the whole platform, but that's it for the Arabic side of things, or the Dream program side. Okay, now for the Andalus Institute organization. You start off with 4 lessons under the reading module, where you go over the alphabet and some basic reading. 10 lessons under A1 Beginner, which if you don't know what it is, you could pause and read it on the screen. 18 lessons under A2 Elementary. 21 lessons under B2 Intermediate Low, and 21 lessons under B2 Intermediate High. And they also have this learning outcome where they'll tell you what you'll learn or what you should learn by the end of the program. And now for AMAU. They have 3 introductory videos, which I won't count into the Arabic program, but here's how the Arabic program follows. It starts with 11 lessons on the Arabic alphabet, 9 lessons on the book called Al-Qa'ida An-Nuraniyya, which is a famous book that teaches you how to recite the Qur'an, 36 lessons on simple 2-word sentences, 34 lessons on getting started with verbs, 46 lessons on describing and possessing, going over adjectives, calling other people, etc. 43 lessons called Small Changes, Great Benefits, which is a collection of small grammatical rules and tips like how to use an Arabic dictionary, etc. 41 lessons called The Power of Pattern, where you increase your reading and listening comprehension. And finally, 52 lessons going over Imam An-Nawawi's 40 Hadith. As you guys can see, each of these programs has quite a solid structure, and you could also see how their methodology really shows through their structure. If it's more vocabulary focused program, then from the very first lessons you're already learning how to speak and how to learn different vocabulary. And if it's more Nahu/Sarf focused like Bayyinah, you'll see those from the very first lesson. Now let's get into category number 3, support. And what I mean by support is if you ever get stuck or have a question, how easy is it to get it answered? Are there dedicated instructors ready to answer any of your questions, or are you left on your own? Well, let's start with Bayyinah. All the lessons that I mentioned to you in the organization used to be live classes, meaning when they first happened they were streamed live and you could get your questions answered live. Now, however, they stopped doing the live sessions and the program pretty much ended. So you can't wait till the live sessions anymore to get your questions in. And as far as I know, there's no dedicated places that you can go to get your Arabic questions. The best thing you can do is either email them, which I don't know how fast they'll respond, or you can join some WhatsApp groups that students have formed, and that way you could ask students who are more advanced than you any of your questions. And those are the only options that I know of with the Bayyinah Institute Dream Program. Now for Andalus Institute, you have a few solid ways of getting your questions in. The most effective way is already built into the program, where after you learn a lesson and you learn some vocabulary or some grammar lesson, you have to book a call with your instructor. And you'll have the same instructor throughout the whole program, so they'll get to know you and you'll get to know them. And so if you have any questions, you can just wait till your next one-on-one call with the instructor and ask your questions live. And by the way, the program is separated between males and females. So if you're a female, then you're going to have a whole different female instructor and a whole different female platform, and everyone is going to be segregated. Another way is to ask the community. Andalus Institute has a lot of students who are very active in the community, and they all ask questions and answer other people's questions. So you can make a post and some of the more advanced students will likely answer you. And of course, you can email them if you need to, but the first 2 methods should be sufficient to get anything you need answered. And for AMAU, if you feel that you're stuck on something and you need some help, they still do live calls once a month where they answer some of your questions. So you could always save your questions until then. And finally, the metric you've all been waiting for, price. Or maybe you haven't been waiting for it, I don't know. Although in my previous video where I asked you guys why you haven't learned Arabic, I did get a comment saying that because Arabic programs are all too expensive, So that is important to some people. And by the way, go check out that video and leave a comment telling me what's holding you back from learning Arabic. That way I can tailor my content to solving some of those issues for you. But anyway, let's get into how much each of these programs cost. Starting with Bayyinah Institute. Like I said, the first 40 lessons are already on YouTube, so those are completely free. The rest of the program, all you need is a Bayyinah TV subscription, which costs $112 a year. And I think there's a monthly option where you could do $11 a month. In my opinion, $112 for the whole year is not that bad, considering not only do you get the Arabic program, but you get all the other courses that are on Bayyinah TV. And if you still can't afford it, you could try to get a gift subscription, meaning if there's someone around the world who has the means, they could sponsor you to get access to a subscription. Now for Andalus Institute. I want to preface the price that I'm about to give you by saying that they do change their prices often, and sometimes they have promotion going on where the price is cheaper, etc. But at the time of this recording, it costs $1,971 a year, or you could pay $749 every 4 months. Now obviously that's a huge jump in price from Bayyinah Institute, but keep in mind that you get access to your own personal instructor throughout the whole program, so it's one-on-one. And another thing with Andalus Institute is that they have what they call a graduation prize, where if you can complete the entire program within 3 years, then all the money that you spent on the program will be refunded back, and you have 3 whole years to finish. And to be honest, 3 years is actually a long time. Most people, if they take a long time learning Arabic, they take 3 years. If they finish within an average amount of time, it's usually about 2 years. And if they're really quick in learning Arabic, they can do it within a year or even like 6 months. Some people learn Arabic very fast. But 3 years, finishing the whole program is very doable. So it is very possible to finish the whole program within 3 years and then get all your money back. And so the program could be potentially free for you. As for the AMAU Arabic program, it costs $120 a year or $20 a month. And it'll also take you about 2 years to finish, but it's self-paced, so you could do it faster or slower. Like I said in the beginning, I don't know if one of these programs is definitely better than the other, or if just people learn differently and so different programs work for different people. If you are someone who thinks that learning Nahw and Sarf from day one is the best thing ever, and you'd love to just sit there and learn all these grammar rules, and you don't really care about vocabulary or speaking to people because you really just want to read Qur'an and understand these Islamic texts, then Bayyinah seems to be a good option for you. If you think that vocabulary is definitely the way to go, but you think that you're going to need more support and motivation, otherwise you'll lose motivation and you won't learn anything at all, then Andalus Institute with their one-to-one live sessions will be perfect for you, because the instructor will see that you're lagging behind and will encourage and help you get to where you need to be. Also, if price is the main issue, then AMAU or Bayyinah could be an option. It all just depends on what you can do right now. I hope you enjoyed and got benefit from this video. Please let me know what you think down below. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.